Okay, Hangout says we're cool.
So does that say we're live? Does it say we're live on air? Yeah, we're live. Yeah, it's coming up live on my thing.
Not on YouTube, so it doesn't echo. That'd be great.
Yeah, you gotta have your thing. You gotta have your thing muted. Hello, chat. I just say hello, chat. Hello, chat. Hello, chat. Damn it, Bearing.
They already started in on you already. Go figure.
So what's news, man? We've been trying to stream for a year, maybe a year and a half. I reckon we've been trying to set this up.
Yeah, but that was no fault of your own, really. I mean, you originally pinged me on Twitter saying, "Hey, this is a good idea," and then you get kicked off.
Oh, I've been kicked off about fucking 8 times, man.
Well, you came back, so I was like, "Hey, this is your new account. Did you still want to live stream?"
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. And you get kicked off again. I'm like, motherfucker. Yeah. So I kind of was like, all right, you know what? I like his shit anyways. I'll throw him some shekels, get on his Discord, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah, no, much appreciated. Actually, speaking of Discord, I'll chuck this on Discord now. Discord, bang, fucking bang. All right, let's go. Yeah, so I've been watching your stuff for for probably that long, for probably a year and a half. You've got some really interesting content, man. You know, your content is like my content, except much smarter.
Well, I constantly look at my shit. Maybe I'm just hypercritical, but I'm like, I'm boring as fuck. This is stupid.
No, it's not at all. I was watching some this morning before we streamed because admittedly, probably the last 2 videos I haven't seen. I was watching the one about, I think it was about trans people. Was it about trans people? Was that 2 videos ago?
Oh,
trans people?
No, that's transgenerationalism. That's that one, I think.
Right. Yeah, man. No, it's much smarter. It is much smarter.
I was doing something else and I came across that article in the library and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta cover this. Because it said trans at the beginning. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. People are gonna look at this like, trans, what? Freak out, GW, re. No, it's actually talking about group thinkers and how they go across generations. So
right. And you're citing some Australian study. There's something about a professor from an Australian university. That's about as far as I got into it. I'll admit, I got about halfway, and then I had a few bourbons because as you can probably hear, I've got a shocking cold at the moment, and my dad always said you need to drink brandy when you've got a cold. It fixes it right up, and so that's what I do.
I'm drinking from Das Boot, so I'm start along with you, I guess.
Das Boot? Do you really have Das Boot?
Hell yeah, it holds 5 bottles.
Doesn't it get warm?
Oh no, I chill mine and then I chill the boot. Like if you drink it slow, it'll get warm by the time you get down to maybe the ankle.
Well, how quick can a man drink 5 beers? How long does it take you to drink 5 beers?
Let's just say I don't let it get cold.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I tell you, to not let fucking 5 beers get cold here, you'd have to drink it in about 15 minutes.
Well, there was I don't do it that often because Steve Shives annoys the fuck out of me. But there was a video I did, one of the first ones, where I was doing a response video to some stupid shit he said because it really irritated me. So I'm all right.
Wait. Steve Shives said some stupid shit?
Yeah, no shit, right? So, but I couldn't do it sober. So I filled up my boot and basically got drunk listening to Steve Shives and wanted to hit myself in the head after that. I can't stand that guy.
What was this video about? What one specifically? Do you remember?
I don't even remember, to be honest. I got drunk enough that I don't remember what I was saying. You know?
Plus, Steve just gets like that, doesn't he? It's just fucking incessant whining about nothing. I'm doing my next video that I'm working on. I was working on it this morning, actually. I'm working on it tonight as well. Is about Steve Shives, and it's about. You know, did you hear how he got a VidCon creator grant?
Yeah, I watched the AIU video and he fucking flipped on him. I was like, oh.
Well, mine's not about that directly. Mine's not actually saying Steve Shives got a creator grant and that annoys me. It's not that. It's that Steve Shive's got a creative grant, and he did a live stream with Kevin. You know Kevin Logan?
Yeah, I know that bitch.
He did a live stream with Kevin Logan, and no shit, he sends a fair amount of shade out at fucking PewDiePie, and that annoyed me. He actually says, "Oh, how easy would it be to be PewDiePie? He puts no effort into his videos. He just says the N-word all the time, and he makes millions of dollars. Motherfucker, fuck you. PewDiePie is a talented motherfucker. I don't care how immature you are. PewDiePie is a talented motherfucker. And Steve, you've said the N-word plenty of times. Plenty of times. Don't make me use some footage. I'm using some footage, by the way. But he used to go fucking hard on the N-word. He used to go fucking hard. But that arrogant motherfucker. Oh, I got a VidCon grant, therefore PewDiePie is a lazy cunt. No, fuck you, Steve. Fuck you, Steve. I'm gonna stick it right up him.
What I think with what was that? No, I know what it was. It was that freaking story time that he did when he's talking about when he worked at a gas station or some shit.
Mm?
And
I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, he was talking.
Take me through it. Take me through it.
AIU did a thing on it where he was talking about the 3 times he's experienced racism in his area or some shit.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess he was working at a gas station. He's cleaning the toilets or some shit, and somebody came in and dropped, "I can't believe you're working with that nigger." It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. And he says it.
Is that the clip that AIU uses all the time? He's actually...
Yeah, with the background in it. It looks like he's in a garage or some shit. Yeah.
Fucking hell. And then he had the one where he was like back home visiting his parents. It must have been Christmas or Thanksgiving or something. And his dad's mate came in there talking, and he goes, "Oh, we don't have any nigger lovers here, do we?"
Yeah, he's got some interesting family. Like, I found out some of my family was like that too, but yeah, like I would have been half black if my grandma didn't step in. That's how bad they are.
Well, do you know his grandfather was legit in the KKK? He's admitted that his grandfather was in the KKK. I'm not joking.
I'm not surprised. My family was not, but they might as well been because they all.
No, was my family. Most normal people's family wasn't in the KKK. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, my family's from Utah, which is Mormon culthood, and right in the beginning of the Mormon book, it pretty much says God cursed anybody that has dark skin. Like, if you're not white, you're cursed by God.
Really? Does it really say that?
Yeah. Like 1 Nephi 20 something or other. I can't remember exactly what chapter, but you go to, it's like on they have the entire Book of Mormon up there. You can go like search cursed skin and find it, and you'll find it right on the fucking Book of Mormon.
I think I am going to search that. That's fucking horrendous. Does it really say that?
Yeah. They tried to explain it away back in the 70s, saying, no, we had a revelation from God that what he meant by that was this. I'm like, shut up, you racist bitch. We know what you meant.
How did they explain? Well, okay, so what we really meant was it was black a metaphor. Was that a sinful person or something? How did they explain it?
That's what they tried to spin it as. When they're saying cursed skin, it's like pox or some shit. I was like, no, it said he cursed them by putting dark skin on them. So you're saying the blacker you are, the more fucked up you are by God. No, shut up. Liars.
That's fucked.
That's Utah for you. That place is
so did you I think there's another guy in my Discord that's from Utah, but where is Utah? Is that in the center of the states? Is that in the south? Is that it's in the middle, isn't it? Somewhere in the middle?
Midwest-ish, like it's kitty corner from Nevada.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of squashed between like Colorado's on one side and Nevada is on the other.
Yeah,
like right in the middle.
And so how deeply entrenched into the Mormon church were you growing up, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, I was an atheist growing up in Utah, which is like being an atheist growing up in, I don't know, Afghanistan, except they don't kill you. They just won't. Like I've been grounded from people's homes because I was converting with the devil or some shit at like 12.
Yeah, right.
It was fun.
Fantastic. And so when you say you were atheist, were you Were your parents atheist or were your parents Mormon and you said, no, fuck this, I'm atheist?
My dad was an atheist. My mom was deconverted because of my dad.
Right. Yeah, fair enough.
They were pot smoking hippies, if that tells you anything. Both of them.
Yeah, right.
My dad was
Right.
5'9" and his hair was half as long.
Right.
It went
And
down to his waist.
you're an actual doctor, aren't you? Are you a doctor or a fucking you're some sort of scientist?
Not a scientist. I got a doctorates in
Oh, you've got a doctorate.
management.
Oh, in I thought it was something to do with psych. Why did I think it was something to do with psychology or
It's
something like that?
sociopsychology. I study
Right.
yeah, I study like influences and how groups interact with each other, or how leadership can influence followers, stuff like that.
So have you read oh fuck, I just read it, and when I say read it, I mean listen to it. I got it on audiobooks.com. Fuck, what's his name? Oh, the Bob, do you know what that book I listened to was by that guy? No, she's saying Brave New. I just listened to Brave New World. That's another conversation. Remind me of that. But no, it's a social psychologist, and he's really famous. I'm pretty sure he's from California. He's Jewish. The Righteous Mind.
No, I haven't read that one yet.
Oh man, fucking hell, that sounds right up your alley. That's actually a really good book.
It's on my shelf. There was another guy from that's a sociopsychologist, and he wrote Moral Politics. I've been reading that one where he tries to differentiate conservatism between liberal and how their morality works.
Yeah,
and then
that sounds a lot like The Righteous Mind. What's his fucking name? Hang on, I'm gonna find his name. What's his fucking name? Righteous.
I wonder if it's the same one.
Righteous Mind by fucking. What's his name? Jonathan Haidt.
Oh, it's a Haidt book? No, I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. No, it's a Haidt book. You should read that. That's a really good book. And you know the other thing that it sort of breaks down that actually sort of got me thinking. I won't say opened my eyes, but got me thinking about religion as well. Is the way he breaks down like religious communities, like say the Christian community type thing, and the benefits that come with having a community like a Christian community or whatever religion it is, and not just the God aspect and the fucking the make believe ghost aspect, but the benefits that come with the tight knit community that religion tends to foster was really interesting. You should read it.
Yeah, it turns religion turns things tribal, and then on top of that, it enforces groupthink through regurgitation of the same information.
But does it turn it tribal? Like, are there? Well, I actually don't know this. Are there left leaning Christians in America? Are there many of them?
Yeah, I know quite a few actually.
So if Christianity or religion turns people tribal, then how can there still be that left right? I mean, America at the moment is divided by left and right. It's Republican, or it's conservatives, and it's liberals.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if there's conservative Christians and there's liberal Christians, I mean, how does that work if it turns people tribal? I mean, I thought people are tribal at the moment by the way they lean politically.
It is by political, but with religion, the way most people think about religion nowadays is they cherry pick what they want to believe and leave out the rest. So you can justify your liberal opinions by cherry picking the parts that align with your liberal opinions, your political opinions. And what happens with the religious side of it is, depending on what church you go to, if your pastor's liberal or conservative, like you got the crazy sons of bitches like Pat Robinson, for example, ultra conservative, 90-year-old fucking crazy bitch. He like would get on both knees with Donald Trump if he could. But then you have a couple other guys that are way more liberal, and they usually run things like Unitarian churches, where it's like we're Christian, but we'll welcome everyone in here. We're very inclusive. Those type of people, and you usually hear nothing from those guys. They're not super crazy usually.
Yeah, right, right. So speaking of politics, what's your assessment of this upcoming 2020 election? It's going to be, no matter which way it goes, it's going to be fucking interesting. It's going to be a fucking spectacle.
With Trump versus Clinton, it was an entertaining shit show. This one's going to be. It feels like what the Democrats did is they loaded a shotgun with as many people as possible, and they're going to just fire it at Trump and see what happens. What sticks on the wall?
They all seem to be fucking idiots, though.
Oh my god!
I tell you the one that the one that I've been making. I mean, I've been meaning to make a video about because he's just so fucking funny and just so poxy and just lame. Is Cory Booker? That motherfucker is like those people who live their lives. They get up in the morning and they picture themselves in a movie. They're like a leading role in a movie, and they say inspirational stuff, and it's always like the key scene of a movie. That motherfucker is that guy.
Yeah, to the mirror. Yeah, I could see that. When I look at his face, you look at his eyes, and you can usually tell what people are like if you look right in their eyeballs. Cory Booker and Alexandria Cortez, they have the same eyes if you look at them. Like they're both fucking bug-eyed. They look like they have deer in the headlights. They're both fucking stupid, but they try to pretend that they're smart. It's like you guys peas in a pod, man.
Hey, I think I've got my voice meter going. I think if I play something on my end, it should actually play through the stream. Let me just see if I can find this last Cory Booker speech because it was fucking so funny. Kyle Kalinske did a video on it, and I'm not a massive Kyle Kalinske fan, but geez, he got it right on this one.
I watch him on occasion, and every once in a while I'll argue with him on Twitter, and then he'll say one thing back that's kind of snide remark, and then his fans just take over after that.
Yeah,
he's a little twat. I don't like him.
He's a twat. He makes a fair point every now and then, but he's a little twat.
Well, he started what's it? I call it the social justice Democrats. It's Justice Democrats is what he started.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the Justice Democrats.
And he's big buddies with Genk, the piece of shit on the earth. God, I just don't like it.
Even though Genk got kicked out after his fucking was it his misogynistic blogs that got exposed or something?
Yeah, it's some shit he did like 15 years ago. Has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, about how bitches don't like to fuck enough.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with that transgenerational shit that I covered not too long ago. That explains that. It's because linear time doesn't mean a goddamn thing to these people.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm on Cory Booker's not Cory Booker's. I'm on Kyle Kalinske's channel. He did a video about Cory Booker. Where the fuck is it? Come on, Cory Booker. Was it a week and a half? It could have been a week and a half ago. Cory Booker. Oh, why can't I find it? Where is it? I don't think I can find it.
Somebody in chat's like the eye patch guy, the scary one, 2020. I think he's Republican. Isn't
he? Who's that? Who?
There's a guy that was elected in the Congress, or he's a representative. And he has an eye patch.
Oh yeah, the ex war hero, and who someone gave him SNL Saturday Night Live gave him shit about it.
Yeah, and they had to get on their knees and suck his dick because they screwed up. It was funny. They burnt their bridge.
Yeah, and fair enough too. Come on, the guy fucking went to war for you. Jesus, like no, fuck.
I stopped watching Saturday Night Live when they stopped being funny.
Yeah,
humor is such shit. I can't stand any of it. My wife likes comedies and such, and it's just like these are all stupid. They're not funny. I watched. I watched it. Oh, sorry. I watched that freaking Joe Rogan and Alex Jones thing. I was laughing for 4 hours. That shit was comedy gold.
That was funny.
Lately, like movies and such, like the new Ghostbusters is supposed to be a blockbuster comedy. It was boring as fuck. I watched like 50 minutes and turned it off.
Yeah, see, with like just going back to Saturday Night Live, I've never been a massive fan for American comedy. I'm not a huge one for American comedy, unless it's like Will Ferrell or someone who's just naturally fucking funny like that. but stuff like that, Joe Rogan and Alex Jones, there's no way that can't be funny. Because that's not, they're not trying to be funny. That's just real life, and that's real life being funny as fuck.
Yeah. Well, Comedy Central or Saturday Night Live used to be pretty damn funny. Used to be.
And see, I never see, like, when in the 90s, in the 80s. When are we talking?
Like 80s, 90s. I think the last time they were actually truly funny was when they had what's his ass from like So I Married an Axe Murderer, Wayne's World. What's his name?
What's his name? Fucking. Hey, Bob.
Powers.
What's Austin Powers' names? What's Austin Powers' name?
The fuck is his name?
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers. Yeah, I think that's the last time they were actually funny to me.
Yeah. Mike Myers is fucking funny. He sort of, he's funny to any country. It doesn't matter what your culture is. But what about the have you watched any of the Joe Rogan redo with fucking what's his name, Jack Dorsey and Tim Pool?
Not yet. That's I wanted to watch the Alex Jones first.
Yeah.
But it was like 4.5 hours. I'm like, oh, fuck. It took me 3 days to get through that goddamn thing. I just finished it today because I had to shut it off and get back to work. So it was just like, God damn it. So that's my watch tomorrow. I'm hoping that Tim Pool beats their ass into the ground, all of them.
Oh, he does. He brings truth to power. He does a brilliant job. Having said that, I've only watched 2 clips. How Joe Rogan does like JRE clips or whatever it is. It's like the clip channel. Well, I've only watched 2 clips, and in those clips, like there's scenes where Tim Pool asks a question, and Jack or his woman of color lawyer that he brings on fucking says, "Oh, this is," and fucking Tim just goes, "No, that's a lie. You're lying." It's epic. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, and I need to. But fuck, from what I've seen in the clips, it looks pretty epic.
I might put that on my big screen just to watch that shit. Tim is fearless, but you know what? He doesn't. I think he gets a lot of bad criticism so much that he's not used to getting good criticism. I sent him an email once saying, "Hey, dude, there's something I caught in your video that seemed a little bit off."
Hang on, before
he yelled at me.
Explain the difference between bad criticism and good criticism.
Bad criticism would be something like somebody gets on your shit and says your stuff sucks and it's horrible. You have no comedy. It's like nothing constructive in there. It's just them shitting on you, right?
Yeah.
Good criticism says, "Hey, I saw this that you did. I feel that it's wrong. Here's my reasons why. Hope you take this well.
Here's how you could have done it. Here's how you could have done it better."
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I did. It was something that he was doing for the lawsuit for the kid that got yelled at by the Native American old bastard.
Yeah.
Well, he did something on the lawsuit on his 4 p.m. thing, and I was like, okay, this is why they can't take it down. They've been issued a cease and desist order by lawyers, which means if they delete something, they're admitting to guilt. They can't do that.
That's a really good point. Actually, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, if they delete anything at all at this point, it's an admission of guilt, and the lawyer can go in and say, "Why did you delete it?" That's all he has to ask. Yep. And if they give a shit answer, the judges go, "You're paying." That's the end of it. They just lost. Yeah, so they cannot delete anything. They have to argue with the evidence is there. So they leave it up saying, well, this is opinion or whatever, and they'll argue till the cows come home. But if they delete anything, they're fucked. And I told him that, and he's like, "Oh, you're just an ass. You didn't listen to all the thing I said." It's just like, dude, I watched your 12-minute video. You said this several times. I'm just saying this is why they can't, and I'm telling you this. I'm not a lawyer either, but come on, man. And you just think he stopped talking to me after that. Come on, Tim.
That's actually a really good point. So what'll probably happen is they'll probably argue and leave the content up, and because they will settle. We all know they're in the wrong, but they will fucking settle without a doubt. So they'll probably leave it up until they settle, and they'll go, "Well, we still think we're right, but we don't want this to go on in court, and we want to get back to business, and so we'll settle. We still think we're right, but we'll settle with you," and that's when it'll come down. I think you're dead right.
It'll come down or it'll issue a complete retraction. Like I can guarantee you something like what's that redheaded bitch's name? Kathy something or other. Yeah, her calling for like doxing and shit on these kids. That stuff's still up because she was also one of those, and her lawyer probably said, "You delete it. You admitted that you did something wrong, so don't delete it." And then we can argue that you were doing this for whatever reason, and she'll still lose. She'll settle, and then it'll come down after that, or she'll forget about it and just leave it up. One of the two.
Yeah. But you're right though. Taking it down is a full-on admission of guilt. At least if you leave it up until the point that you settle, you can maintain your innocence and say, "I'm just settling out of expedience. That's all this is."
Yep.
And I'll take it down just because I don't want the hassle. I'll just take it down because of that. All right. I still think I'm right, but I'm going to take it down because I don't want to fuck around with you now. Yeah. Fuck, I'll get out of my life.
And they'll settle out of court because they're going to go, "You ain't getting 250 million. I'll give you 10. Yeah. Just shut up and leave me alone." And then they'll delete it.
Probably not even 10. I think it'll that shit will settle for fucking probably not even 1. It'll probably settle for there'll be offers of like 700-800 grand, I reckon.
I think that either way that it goes, that kid has got a full ride scholarship thanks to this shit.
He's set for life. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, right.
There'll be several offers of up to $1 million, but no one's going to be paying 250. It'll be $1 million if not less, and probably from a few places. And so he's
absolutely.
Right.
He's good for life. They all have to get it done within 2 years though, because he's still a minor.
Yeah.
And they were attacking a minor.
Hang on, but is that right? So you need to do it while he's still a minor. So it doesn't count that he was a minor when it happened, even if it happens in 3 years.
No, it depends on when you file. So if they take up to 2 years just to file against each individual person, they're not going to file it all like 30 plus people at once, because that means they have to deliberate all 30 cases at once. And one lawyer to do that, you might as well kill yourself.
Well, you did send letters to like 30, 40 people. So
yeah, cease and desist letters. You're getting sued. Don't delete anything. And once he sends that, what happens is he registers it with the court too. So it goes to the court. It goes to the accused. It goes and they get a copy. But then that's where it sits. So they're collecting evidence, and then they just choose the order of priority. So they're probably going to go after the corporations first and the individuals second.
Yeah, fair point. Well, the corporations are going to have more moolah behind them to settle, aren't they? That makes
exactly
sense.
That's why they do it. They go after the big guys first and little fish last.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense.
And if he hits 18 by then oh well. We still got 6 to 10 million for you, buddy. Here you go.
Yeah. What about he's doing it pro bono. I wonder how long that lasts. I mean, if this is still going in 2 or 3 years, or 2 years.
Oh no, it's pro bono for his client. What's going to happen? He's going to ask for lawyer fees for every single one of these people, which is allowed within court. Which means he'll file for 10 mil, and he spent X amount of time
from the other side.
Yeah.
How can you do that? How can you do that?
That's what's allowed in U.S. court. So what'll happen is for the Washington Post one, the first one, he'll say, "We want this plus lawyer fees. I spent X amount of time on this case. I want 10 million plus this."
So they can't say lawyer fees. Hang on, motherfucker! You announced you're doing it pro bono. Go fuck yourself. Can't they do that?
No. Because what happens is he's representing his client for free, but that doesn't mean his time is for free. And so it's up to the judge to whether or not to grant lawyer fees. 9 times out of 10, it's granted in this country. You ask for lawyer fees, you usually get it. I've actually, when I was in a divorce case, I argued that I got a lawyer, she got a lawyer, mine left, hers didn't. She can pay her own damn lawyer. I paid for my damn lawyer, and the judge was like, "Fair enough." And I didn't have to pay for the lawyer, but it's usually you end up paying for the lawyer too.
Yeah.
Whoever loses pays.
Yep. So what's going on, chat? We should defer to the chat.
Well, I don't have super chats because I'm not that cool. So.
Oh man, fuck. What are you doing? So chat. What subjects do you want us to talk about? What's interesting at the moment? Someone says $250 million. Fuck up. Yeah, I agree. No one's getting $250 million for.
You know why they has $250 million, right?
Well, yeah. You aim high, aim high.
No, that wasn't it. That was the total value that Washington Post sold themselves to for their parent company.
Sorry, say that again.
They sold Washington Post did a merger like not too long ago, and they sold their company to the parent company for that amount. So that's their valuation as of last sale. So like you're worth this much. That's why we're suing you for this much. It's like, God damn, dude.
We know you can pay. You can pay about this. Fair enough. Yep. So Bob says, why do Aussies like gun control? That's a doozy of a subject, but it's one I'm willing to talk about.
Well,
go on.
Doesn't it hinge around the mass shooting you guys had in 1996? I think
it does. Yeah. So there was a mass shooting in 1996 at Port Arthur, where I think 35 people died, and our Prime Minister at the time, John Howard, decided to ban automatic. I think automatics were already banned, but semi-automatic guns. Now, I got to say, at the time, I was fucking 1996. I was 12 at the time, so I had no say in what they were doing at the time. But I've got to say, I don't disagree with what he did. I really don't. I think Australia's gun laws work for Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the past, when I've said that, a lot of Americans have said, "Oh, you fucking cuck, you're giving away your rights, you're a fucking faggot." I get that, but America is a lot different to Australia, and here's why. America has much more of a gun culture. We're in Australia's past, Australians have always seen, I think, guns as a tool. They're like a shovel or a rake. I think Americans have always more taken pride in their gun. A gun is something you put on your mantelpiece, whereas in Australia, a gun is something you keep in your shed. And the most important thing is that Australia is its own continent. So whatever law you enact in Australia is self-contained. It's isolated. If you tried to do something like the gun laws that they brought in Australia, in America, you've still got fucking Mexico. You've still got Mexican cartels. You've still got how many fucking millions of guns on the same landmass that you're trying to enact that law, and that's just not going to work.
That wouldn't work for Canada. Has really strict shit too, so they wouldn't be the issue. Mexico would be the issue.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and Canadians are just so fucking nice anyway, so I don't think they'd shoot you even if they did have the guns.
I wouldn't say that. From people and things that I know, and even doctors that I've met, the Hells Angels of the United States went to Canada to avoid federal prison.
Right.
So they got some badasses up there too.
Yeah.
Most of them are probably geriatric Hells Angels at this point, but I mean,
but I think they're two completely different things. I mean, if I was an American who lived in America, I think I would be very, very much Second Amendment. I think I would own guns, and I think I would be a staunch fucking defender of the fact that I should be able to own those guns. In Australia, I think it's different. No one has guns, and I think that's all right, because the facts are facts. We do have a tiny fucking murder rate, and I don't see any need to increase that.
I agree. That's the catch-22 at this point for us. Is I think it's misinterpreted personally, but we have it in our Constitution, and Constitution is like the word of God for the United States. If it's in there, it's in there. And what it's there, you can't change. And the only way it changes is if all 50 states agree, and that ain't happening. Or 52 states, rather. You need a 2/3 majority, I think it is.
That's interesting you bring that up. I mean, I didn't know that's how you could. So is that how you add an amendment to the Constitution if all 52 states agree?
It's not 52. I think it's 2/3 majority or something like that.
Okay, so when was the last time that happened?
Civil Rights Act, I think so. Yeah, it's a 2/3 state legislature of majority. So if you wanted to add a constitutional amendment, you need 2/3 of the states to agree to add that amendment.
And so, what was the change in presumably the 1960s Civil Rights Act era? What was the how was the Constitution changed the last time it was changed? Do you know? I mean, I don't want to make you research, but do you know that off the top of your head?
The last time was, I believe, the Civil Rights Act was the last push, but that's an act. It's not an amendment. But they did put an amendment in.
So an act
similar.
doesn't change the actual Constitution, does it?
No, an act's a law. An amendment is like, this is now codified. Basically, it's like the 10 Commandments for United States.
It's almost above the law. It's just a given.
No, it's the basis. I wouldn't say above. It's the basis of the law. There is no higher authority than our Constitution.
Yeah, fairly put.
And Cornell Law has a really good section on all the amendments and shit. I usually use that when when I have to argue with dipshits online about constitutional shit. That's who I reference, is Cornell Law. But they have them all on there.
Yeah, right.
But that's what it is. Like 2/3 of this country would have to agree to either nullify or restrict the Second Amendment. Actually, what would actually have to happen? They had a case law, some shit, where they said a militia is an individual. Like, you can have a militia that is a person, not people.
Right.
And that's how they justified individual ownership of firearms.
Yeah, I was going to say, so individual gun right. Yeah, because it does come down. The wording is something like a well-organized militia, isn't it, to defend against a tyrannical government or something like that.
Yeah, and we have, like, for example, the Proud Boys essentially is a militia. Antifa could also be constituted as a militia if they decided to recognize themselves as a militia, and both of them under the Constitution would be legally allowed to own guns at that point. As fun as that would be to have Antifa owning firearms.
Well, there's been a few videos of Antifa actually marching with firearms. Have you not seen that?
Yeah, there was one in Arizona, and the guy that was filming them found pressed them a little bit, and they were carrying airsoft guns. It was like, you fucking pussies. They aren't even real guns, you bitches.
Faggies, that you've got the right to own guns, you carry fucking paintball guns.
That's pretty much what they were. It's like, dumb. To be fair though, I actually have never owned a gun until I moved to Texas. Like in Utah, I never had to. I knew all the bad people, I knew all the good people. It was like 2 million people in all of Utah. It's like 8-hour drive from top to bottom. I knew pretty much everybody, so there's no reason. Like, nobody fucked with me. I moved to Texas. It's like, oh shit, they're crazy people down here. I'm gonna get a firearm, and so I looked to see what the cops owned, and I bought the same one because they usually have reliable firearms.
And so you moved to Texas, and you thought, okay, well, I better get a firearm. So what sort of firearm did you get? So the considerations were, I don't know many people here. I want to defend my family.
Yep.
What did you buy? Where do you keep it? Have you ever used it?
I have shot it at a range. That's about it. But I shot it at a range like 2 years ago. I haven't even taken it out of the case since. Well, no, that's the lie. My sister has a crazy ex, and so once or twice we've had some weird shit go on in my house. So I've had to walk around the house with a gun out because I'm like, who the fuck's making that noise? That ain't cool.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
that would give you a lot of confidence. I imagine. If I heard a noise outside my fucking house, if I had a fucking pistol on me, I'd be a confident motherfucker.
Well, there's the one I got was the Smith & Wesson MP9. So it's a 9mm, and the Smith & Wesson makes it. What's their ass is Louder with Crowder hates Smith & Wesson. They go fuck themselves. That's what the cops use here. That's because they never jam. They never require like a shit ton of oil or maintenance. It's just like real simple gun. And it holds 17 rounds, which is a shit ton, so I can unload a lot. But unfortunately, I took my wife to the range, and she has depth perception issues. I had the little sheet of paper you shoot at 3 feet away, and she hit it in the corner once. All 17 rounds, and she fucking missed everywhere. It's like, why didn't you shoot yourself with the gun? That's just horrible.
Oh, shit. Okay, so it holds a lot of rounds. You know, it's reliable. Okay,
Yep.
no,
That's the
fair.
only thing I own. Well, that's not true. I own some paintball guns because our kids go out paintballing, and I have a not a BB gun, but the pellet guns, the little harder pellets, because there's big ass fucking wild hogs and coyotes near my house. So I'm like,
Wait,
yeah, I having a wild dog eat anybody. Fuck you.
Are they little round plastic pellets? Is that what we're
No,
talking?
these are the metal kind of look like little mini arrows, I guess. They're really
Oh, really? Fuck.
yeah, they're not they're the same size as a BB, but they're like they look a little bit more arrowheady, I guess.
So how much damage would that do to you? So it's like a little sort of like not oval shaped, like a cylindrical pellet with a point on the end.
Yeah, they look like a little mini arrowhead, basically, but they're about the same size as a BB.
Yeah, and so how much damage you reckon? How much damage would that do to someone at point blank?
It'd break your skin. That's about it.
Yeah.
If I shot a dog in an eye, it'd take care of him. I could shoot a bird out of the sky.
Yeah,
that's about it. They're not that damaging. It's enough to just either piss a person off or get a coyote away from my house.
Someone in the chat says in America owning a gun is a right, but healthcare is a privilege. Seems odd. That's a good point. So in Australia, we cannot. I mean, unless you've got hunting licenses, and then they've got to be fucking basically bolt action rifles, I think, and you've got to have safes and all that shit. Like it's really strict. That's the only way you can own a gun. But everyone's got healthcare, and that's something that America doesn't have. I hear a lot of debate about that in America, like healthcare for all, universal healthcare. And to be honest, it's something that I can't bag because I've gotten a lot of benefit out of Australia's healthcare system. But having said that, it's not universal healthcare as in your healthcare must be covered by the government. You can have private healthcare. You can opt out of that.
So what happens in the US is they privatized it. So for example, like I said, I work in corporate America, basically. And what they do is your benefits package, you get X amount of salary, plus we'll pay for like 3/4 of your benefits on top of that. And so they put that into their employment package, if you will, to sweeten the deal to keep you around.
So do you choose do you come with an existing healthcare plan and they reimburse for 3/4?
No, they have the corporate has their own.
They say here are your options. Here's what you can choose from.
Yep, they have 3 or 4 options with their preferred provider because they get like a corporate discount from some like what's the big one, Anthem or some shit like that, or Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they'll say we pay for 3/4 of your benefits. You pay for like $20 of it per month, and then here's your deductible and that other shit that comes with it. And so what they do is they build it into your job. So what sucks for some people is they got jobs that don't pay for that, or they suck so bad that they don't have any health insurance until Obamacare said you have to. So it's really messy. It's because it's privatized. That's what sucks about it.
And so does that cover your family, or do you have to take out separate stuff for your family?
Oh, it covers up to my 21-year-old. Yeah.
So what if you've got 12 kids?
I have 4. It covers all of them.
What if you had 12?
It covers them all. Up to the there's a law for it. It'll cover up to the age of 24, and then the kid either has to provide their own insurance or you pay more.
Yeah, right. And so there's obviously an extra cost in that. So the business, so whoever your employer has to pay up to X amount of kids. It's just law.
Yep, and actually, it costs the business more the more kids you have. So if you come into a job and have like 12 kids, the company has to pay. You pay like say $500 a month for your insurance, but the company's probably paying like $3,000.
And so is that a case of hi, how you going? Thanks for the interview. I've got 13 kids. Okay, thanks. Get the fuck out of my office. Is that what happens there?
No, that never happens. Actually, they include it in the employee benefits. So it's kind of a contract negotiation. They got a discount and all that fun shit. So they'll hire you based on whatever good you're at. But then when you go to do your insurance, that's after the fact. You're already hired. It's done. So now you choose your benefits after that.
Yeah, right.
So they say we have employee benefits and we pay up to 90% or whatever. And you're like, okay, that's cool. You don't have to tell them how many kids you have. It's none of their goddamn business.
Yeah. I just asked everyone in the chat to hit like and subscribe to Tap because he makes great content. You watch, you'll probably get a bunch of dislikes now and you'll lose a heap of subs.
That's fine. I got one dislike so far, and I'm pretty sure that's each eyes.
My viewers are cunts. They're cunts. You're all cunts. Fuck you.
I'd imagine they're not too bad. I'm one of them. Yeah, come on now. Actually, I don't remember where I ran across your channel, but it was some shit you were shitting on Christy Winters or somebody, and it just so happens she runs in the same like academic circles, so I knew who this chick was, and I was like, she's kind of off. And then you started just shitting all over. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this, and I was loving every second of it. But yeah, like I told you, I think earlier in your Discord, I found all of her research. I have it all.
Oh, you did say that too. Whoa!
so two of her publications are basically her job trying to sell her what she's trying to make. The fun part about it is she's one of those social constructivist bitches. That's everything's socially constructed, like gender's a social construct and all that shit. The shit she's working on is directly opposed to that. It's like, how can you be so stupid that you're arguing, you believe this shit, but you're arguing against it? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Hang on, she's like a fucking she's like a political sociologist. She doesn't she look at elections and shit like that?
So she's from what I looked at, she's got a doctorate in sociopsychology. Yeah, so pretty I think it's pretty much straight sociology if I remember right. She claims she's a political scientist because the shit she works on focuses on politics and science and politics and sociology. So that's why she says I'm a political scientist. I'm like, no, you ain't. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, right.
I've read your research, all 5 things you've published. Shut up.
When you said, like, you know how she says on the internet she believes in gender is a social construct and all that, and in her work she's a complete opposite. What I assumed you meant by that was because I thought she was a political scientist and she looked at electoral results and that sort of thing.
Nope.
And so I thought what you meant was the fact that she breaks statistics down by male, female, the way they voted and all that sort of shit. So what did you mean by that?
No, what she does in her research and actually her project she's trying to sell is she tries to do what do they call it? It's kind of similar to what they call in geology like generalization. So basically you take a bunch of different rock formations and you try to find out similarities that kind of work between the two. So it's really easy for you to do a mass geological survey on a location, right? Because the formations are kind of the same. She's trying to do the same thing, but to social groups.
Yeah.
Fucking impossible. So she's trying to do this shit. And I'm like, what you're trying to do is going to be completely impossible because no two social groups are the same. They're all ideologically driven because all social groups gather around a core interest. So none of them have the same core interest. You're shooting yourself in the foot with this project. I understand the endeavor and and what you're trying to do, and it would be helpful, especially in my field, but you can't do it.
Yeah, not when you're an airy fairy, everything is a social construct sort of person.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, I mean that means literally evolution has nothing to do with what you're talking about. So there went that out the door. You just fucked yourself. Good job.
Yeah. Hey, I think I have a soundbite for Christy Winters. I think my jingle palette app is running, but you have to tell me. Can you hear this?
Lesbians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking lesbian. I can't stand her really. Her beady eyes get to me. She's got that look on her face like I'm gonna stab you in the back the first chance I get.
Well, you've heard what AIU calls a fat Chinese boy.
Yeah, actually, in that thing he did about Steve Shives, she commented like he put out there that he got this grant and thank you everybody, and she said something, and then Steve Shives like sucked her tit after that. It's like, oh, a comment from you is such a glorious thing. I was like, shut up.
Fuck off, Steve.
She's writing that doctor coat because it gives her some street cred. That's all it does. She's a fucking moron.
100% beta lesbians.
Yeah. I've got a really, really, really fucking funny video about Christy Winters that I honestly I've been putting this video off for 6 months, and you'll see why when I make it. But oh my god, it'll be worth the wait. I've got a funny fucking video to make about Christy Winters. It is going to be a belter. I think I'm just right to do it the next. Hey Tits, do you reckon I'm right to make that Christy Winters video in like the next month or two? You know that Christy Winters video I've been meaning to make? Yeah. Do you reckon I'll be right the next month or two? Yeah, I'll be right the next month or two. That's what Sugar Tits reckons. It's gonna be fucking funny.
I've been wanting to do one on her because I haven't touched her subjects at all, but I wanted to kind of call her out for her shit. And I have 5 PDFs sitting here where I was going to go through her abstracts and talk about how full of shit she is. And I just haven't done it yet.
You know, from someone like you, and you're the sort of person who should be doing that, because I probably wouldn't understand 3/4 of it, but I'd love to watch a video of you taking apart her fucking work. That'd be so funny. Oh, hang on, where's my button?
Lesbians.
That's what's his ass, right?
That's Jesse Lee Peterson.
Jesse. God, I love that guy. I mean, he's super Christian and all that shit, but god damn.
Oh, there's heaps of stuff I disagree with him on, but his manner is so funny. He's just such a man. He's a walking, talking meme. He's so funny.
Well, the thing I love about him is if he asks a question and you don't answer it the way he's satisfactory, like he still doesn't understand, he'll hit you again with the same fucking question.
He just fires.
He doesn't even change the way he worded it. It's just like the same fucking question. Just bam. Answer the goddamn question. Quit. Like when he did it with that stupid Fabio. Brown Fabio is what you calls him. Hassan Piker. That's the dude.
Yeah, Hassan Parker.
Oh my god. He asked that dude the same fucking question like 6 times and he still wouldn't answer it. I was like, god damn it.
Woke Bay.
It was woke bay, and then he called him Hassan Picker or some shit. I was like, oh god, this is gonna be great.
He called him Hassan Packer.
That's right. I was like, it probably is a fudge packer. That fits.
Yeah. How funny was his fuck? Did you see his bread analogy? His communism bread analogy was the most retarded thing I've seen in a fucking long time.
He tried to describe like capitalism, failed miserably, and then said, you know what's even more fair than that? If we just take your shit and give it to everyone else. It's like, how is that fair? Fuck you. I made that shit. You ain't getting that.
He not only made a case for why you should not interact with illegal aliens, but why you should not take on employees at all. Good work lifting up the fucking poor, you dickhead. That's so dumb. Wow. Ugh.
I know. He basically cemented the case why capitalism works, socialism doesn't work, and why you shouldn't trust anybody that speaks it either because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Just like listen to Alexandria Cortez when she's talking about a tax break is basically money we were giving them. It's like, no, that's not how things work. Fucking idiot.
This guy in the chat, Earl Holiday, says, I feel that Bearing is just wondering why we all want to watch him with how he just says common sense with insults added. This guy has discovered my secret. Right? That's pretty much spot on. I'm not a smart guy. I just say stuff that makes sense, and I'm a bit rude because I'm Australian. You're pretty much spot on in a holiday. I salute you.
I try to when I do my shit, I try to make them feel stupid when I'm doing it. Because everybody used to call me stupid, so I'm like, all right, I'll make you feel like an idiot. How do you like that shit? And of course, the only person I've ever criticized, I think, because I try to avoid it, is Steve Shives. But I only did that for 2 reasons. First, I didn't like what he said, but then the second thing was I was talking to him on Twitter, actually talking to him. I was like, he was looking for an apologist book for Islam, and I'm like, well, I haven't really seen any, but here's one that's kind of similar. He's like, yeah, well, that's kind of written by a Christian. And I was like, yeah, I think the point is I've never actually seen an apologist book by an Islamist, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't work.
Hang on, an apologist book for Islamism. What's an apologist book? Describe that. What does that mean?
So Steve Shives, the only reason I watched him so much was he did this Atheist Read series where he'd go over like William Lane Craig's book on Christianity and rip it apart and say why he's fucking retarded. And I agreed with most of what he was saying there, but then he was looking for an Islam one. So I recommended some shit and we talked for maybe a day. And the next thing I knew, I was blocked. It's like, what the fuck? And then I go look and that's when he got that block bot and started blocking everybody. I was like, you son of a bitch. Okay, fuck you, Steve. And then I started listening to some of his other stuff. I'm like, okay, that's why he's an SJW.
That would have scared the fucking shit out of him. Reading an Islamist apologist book. If
there isn't any.
Oh, there isn't. But imagine if there was one. I don't think he'd read it because he'd be scared that he'd sound like a bigot.
Yeah, probably. I need to step away for a second. Give me a second.
Yeah, man. What's going on, chat? Cow anus. Hi, Tap and Bearing. Hi, Ash. Fucking Brie Larson, talented actress or white male hating feminazi. I haven't looked into Brie Larson much. I understand. Is that the bitch that's doing? Hey, tits. Tits isn't there. Is that the chick that's doing fucking the new superhero movie? I'm not into superhero movies that much. I'm not a big fan. All right, Bearing, begin the takeover. I have. Yeah, Captain Marvel. Yeah. So I saw that there was something on Rotten Tomatoes that they banned reviews or they banned pre-reviews or something, but it strikes me that if they were allowing that shit for other movies, then they should allow it for this movie. It seems a little bit nice to put this back.
I just ran into the door. That was fun.
Yeah, that's a doozy, that isn't
it? I put my study had like an open archway, and so I put pocket doors into them, and I slid them open. And
you put what in them?
Pocket doors, so they don't open in or out; they just kind of slide into the wall.
Oh, yeah, like sliding doors. They slide into the cavity and then back out.
Yeah. So I put some of those up, and I just ran into it. It's fun.
Yeah, how fucking gay did that sound? Slide into the cavity and then back out. Fuck, that sounded really gay.
It depends on what cavity you're talking about. But the only reason I had to step away for a second is because Das Boot makes you have to go pee. I just finished it.
Oh, did you? So from the time we started this stream to when we finished to now, you've drank that whole fucking boot.
Yep.
Wow. That's a feat. And so that's five like what we'd call stubbies in Australia. So five bottles of beer. Like what are they like?
12 ounces each.
What's 12 ounces? Okay, 12 ounces is 300 mil.
It's 60 ounces altogether.
Das Boot. Fuck that's impressive, man.
It holds 5 beers. That's all you have to know. And they're not your shit Fosters. I drink Beck's. I go with German beer.
I don't drink Fosters. I'd actually prefer a Beck's than a Foster's, or a fucking or a Peroni. I like Peroni's nice.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I've been drinking
Stella Artois. Stella Artois is nice too.
Stella's okay. I got a taste for Beck's for stupid reasons. So, have you ever seen the movie Beer Fest?
I have. That's where I got Das Boot from. Yeah, I have.
We got a Das Boot because of that fucking movie. I started drinking Beck's for the same goddamn movie because they're like, they're the three greatest beers in all the world. And it's Straudenburger, Rosenbaum, and they couldn't think of it. And I was like, und Beck's. I'm like, okay, let's try a Beck's. I'm like, oh shit, this is actually really good. And I started drinking it from then on.
So did you have to order the boot from on? Did you go online to order the boot?
Oh no! If you want an epic fucking video that's like viral, stupid, look up VAT19 Das Boot, and they have this really fucking suggestively gay dude on there doing an advertising for their Das Boot because they make like novelty type shit like that. They got Das Horn and Das Boot, and he's doing Das Boot. He like in one of the videos he shoves like he just dumps a shit ton of 5-hour energy drink in it and starts chugging it. And then he dies. It's like, what the fuck? Like
and so that video was VAT 19 Das Boot. Was that what it was?
Yeah, VAT 19 Das Boot. If you want, it's funny as fuck. Actually, I don't know if you watched it. The one I did when everybody was saying milk was like a symbol of white supremacy or some shit.
I think I did. That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a while ago. I did one of my friends who's a DJ had this vegan movie he was watching or some shit, and it said everybody I know drinks milk and I don't know why. It's so wrong. And then she's like, I figured out why everybody drinks milk. I was on the bus one day or something. Like, it has these little clips from the stupid ass vegan movie. Right. And he turns it into this industrial techno fucking stupid ass song. And I took that song and I took clips from like all this meme shit that we had about everybody I know drinks milk. But when that lady was talking, I had that chick that got punched in the face at the last Berkeley thing that she cried wolf.
Oh, yeah.
He punched me in the face and it cost like $1,000. Give me money. It's like, shut up, bitch.
No, it wasn't Berkeley. It was fucking.
That was Berkeley Part 2.
Yeah, and it was the anti-far chick and she was trying to fight people and some cunt punched her in the face. Fuck it.
And she dropped, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That was funny as. That was just funny.
So I took her I think it was ABC video. She had an interview or some shit, and I took her and I put her. I didn't even try to even lip sync the shit. I just put her there where this chick was talking in this fucking vegan video, and then ever there, and like with the beat, I was putting. It progressively got worse. I had all these celebrities doing got milk shit. And then from there, it was like Hitler with a milk mustache. I went full bore. So like fuck
I don't remember that. I'll go back and watch that.
It was a fun music video. I was laughing my ass off making it the whole way. It didn't get that many views. I'm like, I don't give a shit. This shit was funny to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that and tweet that.
It's heavy. It's heavy industrial techno though, so not everybody likes that kind of shit. So
oh yeah, but if it's funny, it's funny. It doesn't matter what sort of music. I don't give a fuck what.
I even took clips of that live stream that they hijacked. What's his ass? The Shia LaBeouf video thing they had in Times Square or whatever, where those dudes showed up and started chugging milk and shit in the video.
We will not divide us one.
Yeah, that guy. I took clips out of that and had. When they were chugging milk on the live stream, I had Pepe the Frog dancing on the screen with it. I was like, yeah, this is good.
That was fun.
That guy is such a crazy culty bitch.
Oh, he's a prick. Anyway, man, my dog's looking at me for a walk, so I better piss off. But thanks for having me on, man.
No, thank you. I mean, it only took a year and a half to get
this together. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that, but like you said, I do blame Twitter because we were organising that shit. Then I got about 8 Twitter accounts deleted, so it's Jack Dawson's fault. Fucking email Jack. Fuck that guy.
Well, that's where we were trying to hook up, and I was like, oh, that didn't work out well. You got kicked off. All right, how am I going to make this happen?
I think you're in my Discord now. I think we're going to have another chat on Sunday, which will be on my live streaming channel, which is Patrick. Yep. So I think you'll be on that as well.
Yeah, I don't plan on going anywhere this weekend, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, look forward to it. Hey, thanks for having me, man, and we'll definitely do it again.
Sure, thank you very much.
All right, cheers, man. All the best.